Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Master the Hoop. My name is Yaz and today I will be talking about 5 mistakes that cross-stitchers make that often result in a project being abandoned. The first one is not gridding your fabric. If you are working on any large project, grid your fabric first. There are different ways of doing it and I will cover them in one of my upcoming videos. But it is really hard if you're working on a project like this area is this one whole page, and you can see I have been trying to keep track by coloring in where I was, but once you get counting here can get really out of hand, and it's really easy to lose track on what are you doing. So if I had gridded this fabric, I would have had a 10 by 10 grids that would match the 10 by 10 grids on my pattern, and it would have been a lot easier for me to know where I am and where my next stitch needs to be. The second big mistakes that cross stitchers often make, and I myself am guilty of it, is not edging your fabric. Whenever you're starting a bigger cross stitch project, please make sure you finish your edges first. As you work, these will continue to unravel, and there's a possibility that you can compromise your fabric if it unravels too much. So there are different ways of doing it. I've even seen people use masking tape and just wrap around the edges. You just want to have some way of making sure that your fabric is not unraveling. The next mistake is not starting your project in the right spot. Patterns will be marked with the center. There will be arrows that will point you to the center. So when you start stitching, make sure that you also choose the right center of the fabric and you match that with the center of your pattern. Otherwise, your design will be off center and you will run out of room to complete your cross stitch. So you might have to just not do the last few columns, or otherwise you won't be able to frame it if there's not enough fabric left on the side. The next one is making your cross stitches in a different direction. And floss has a shine to it. And if your cross stitches are all going in a different direction, that is noticeable. If you look here, I have these stitches are going that way, and then the rest of them are going this way. And you can see how those 3 stitches are different than the others. So it doesn't matter which way you go, as long as they're all going the same way. And the last one that I want to mention is knotting of your thread. As you're working, pay attention. I was filming another video as I was working on this, and I did not notice that I have had a knot in the back. Of course, this is not a big problem as nobody will really see the back. However, if there's too much in there, it can cause a bump, and then that becomes noticeable on the front as your fabric will not lie flat. So pay attention as you're working. And if you do have any knots, fix them right away. I did not notice this, and you can see how it all bunched up in the back as I was stitching over, not paying attention. And then the last one, and this is not one of mine, but as a bonus, I have purchased a small cross stitch kit at a thrift store, and I guess the person that had opened it before they donated it had left a needle in the fabric. So this fabric became unusable to me because of the rust stains. So don't, if you're walking away from your cross stitch, don't leave your needles in the fabric. It's it can cause stains, and it's also not very safe. So if you are done with the work for the day, put away your needles. So that way you won't have to frantically search for them in a carpet or in the sofa. So these are the biggest mistakes that have caused me to abandon my projects. A lot of these projects I do intend to get back and restarting. But in the meantime, do you have any that you can share with me that I can add to my other videos? If there's anything that has caused you problems and you wish you'd known before you started, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope I see you next time on Master the Hoop.